What up, what up? This is Larry Sanders here, and I'm here in Music in the Cut.
What's happening? It's your boy Fernie, here again at the Conservatory of Recording Arts and Sciences with another one of my special clients from the Salt Mine Studio Oasis. Keep in mind, that's 5 different studios decked out with the history, the gear, but more importantly, the vibes of the studio to get your creative process going. The hits are waiting. Where are you at? Now, Larry, being that I met you from the studio, I know that you come from a creative background, whether it be your writing, your tattoos, or the music that you work on. What can you tell me about this self-expression and how that came to be?
Yeah, it's funny. I was having this conversation today. I was younger. I grew up pretty underprivileged. Like, we were homeless for a little bit. Me and my mom lived out of cars and shelters and bouncing around a lot and losing a lot of toys and physical stuff. I became an artist, so I started to draw. And what I understood and what I learned to understand was that what I created could never be taken from me. Like I can create a picture and my bodies of work, they meant so much to me because, even if it burnt up in this fire, I could draw another one. If I lost this one in the move, I can create more. And, that's how I kind of fell in love with the creative process.
And that was not only just the drawing side, but you were also looking into writing as well. How did that come to be? It seemed like you were just enthralled in everything that was art.
Yeah, art and creation, just being creative. I've always found myself to be a pretty busy kid, wanting to create stuff, whether I was making clothing or drawing or writing like little stories here and there, or writing raps. So just creating, nothing from something, having an idea and putting it into the world and seeing it come to fruition through some hard work and dedication and focus is just amazing to me. Like we're sitting in someone's idea right now. All of this is someone's. If they didn't, it has to exist twice, right? So it exists first in your mind, and then it has to exist out here in the physical world. So all this exists in the invisible world first, until someone brought it here. So just being that vessel is a amazing thing that people got to take advantage of.
Of course, and more so take advantage of not only the plan that you have in sight, but also what comes to you. Like, for example, you initially wanted to just be art, but got the opportunity to take on basketball.
Right. Well, it's funny. It's another step in there too. I fell in love with art as a child, and then as I got older, I wanted to be an oceanographer.
Oceanographer.
Yeah. So I was like deep into like studying the ocean, and I wanted to, be like a marine biologist. I was like going to all these camps in the summers. I was on a submarine actually before when I was like 15. I had been on like 3 or 4 submarines. That's more. I've never been to a basketball camp. Played on a basketball team, but I'd already been underwater. So I was intrigued with that. But, after a while, I was thinking like, damn, if I get 7 feet tall, I probably ain't gonna be able to fit in too many submarines. So I was like, let me pick up a basketball. No, but I got taller and started taking the game serious. And I got fortunate because I got really good coaches and really good point guards and players who dedicated their time to just helping me grow and taking their time with me and being patient because I was new to the game. Like, the first game I played in, I was 16, playing my first game ever. And I didn't know you switch at the half. I didn't know you switch baskets. So I go down on a fast break and score in the wrong basket. I ain't dunking, hell no. I was 6'6", I wasn't dunking nothing. And I was on JV. That should show you how, how raw I was. Like, I didn't have a lot of bad habits though. And that's what made me, I think, excel so quickly is because I didn't have a lot of bad habits. I was just a long, athletic, raw athlete that just didn't know much about the game. And with the right, coaches and teachers, in 6 years from that day, I was in the NBA. So yeah, I started playing when I was 16 and 6 years later, I was in the NBA. Yeah,
that's like ridiculously impressive. To some, that seems almost impossible.
It wasn't possible for me when I was in it. There was no NBA in sight. I went to VCU because it was 16th in the country in art. I was first a religious studies major, and then I moved into anthropology. And I wanted to create my own business where I would just go study social norms, dissect cultures, sit in different places for months at a time, and get this information and sell it to, sell it to all the top companies in the world. That was my dream, going into college. And, like I said, good coaching. And I just got better. I didn't even finish my third year. I got drafted. To the Bucks. So yeah, life happens fast, man. Life happens fast, and it happened fast. But I think all in all, because I made a decision to leave the NBA. I had a $44 million contract, and I left early because I felt like I've always been ambitious, and I've always wanted to do more, right? And, I love basketball, and it was great, but I wanted, to give you a little background about me as a child, I had a lawn service when I was like 10. We were cutting everybody's grass in my neighborhood. I used to sell like frozen pops and candy and stuff out my backpack at school. I was always just knowing how to hustle and make money and be this entrepreneur. So basketball was cool, but you got an owner, you got a coach, you got an agent, you got a GM, you got all these different bosses. I'm like, I ain't want one boss. I got 7, and it's like, man, this is cool, but I don't feel like answering to all these people and them dictating my life and controlling my quality of life when I can just go do something I want to do.
It kind of reminds me of a phrase that you've said before, where you said that basketball was 90% mental.
Right. For sure. But it's not respected in that sense. To say that something is 90% mental, but then they're not doing anything for the mental side of it is such a dilemma. Like that's not right, because it's like you're ignoring the fact that there's a mental component when it comes to these injuries, right? So like Derrick Rose, for example, him having that knee injury, the mind is connected to the body. So it's impossible to injure the body and not injure the mind. There's just no therapy for it, right? You put the ice on the leg and you keep it pushing. But even if the leg heals, the mind is still traumatized.
I never thought of it, because I know that you would always push mental health,
right?
But I never thought of the after effects of physical harm
on your mental, right? And it's not being treated, So, the concussions, so many different things that obviously mental, but some things they ignore. It's because it takes work, and it takes dedication, and it takes attention. And when it comes to business, you don't want to spend that much time on the product. It's like, you put the product on the shelf, people buy it or not. And that's kind of their business model. It is. And it's not like I'm finna go and focus too much on this product. I'll get a new one. There's a million other chairs out there waiting to be at the table. Why fix this broken leg? And, that's the system, but it's embedded in the code. So there's no sense of trying to go change the system. I would say create a new one or just don't be involved like me. Like I just chose to exit out of that system because I couldn't change it. It would have rolled me over, took all my money and labeled me as a drug addict delinquent and went along his way. You know what I mean? And my words would have been invalid. So when you're competing against something like that, you just opt out, and either you create your own or you let it be. But awareness is key, because I have 3 boys, so keeping them aware of what they're getting themselves into is going to be my main goal, because they love basketball. They could be in the NBA one day, and they're going to need to know, just what they're getting themselves into.
Heck yeah. I mean, if it's okay with you, for the people at home, it's not just basketball. You had also mentioned that your kids also play baseball and soccer, right?
Right, yep.
How do you not only inform them of what they're getting themselves into, but still have them pursue that if that's what they want to do?
I mean, yeah, that's all in it. Like if you give them the truth of it, then you actually give them a idea of what they're pursuing, because we all can all pursue something, and when we get there, we're like, what is this? This ain't what I thought it was going to be, you know what I mean? That's usually the case when it comes to pretty much anything, because what you're going to see is the glitz and the glamour. You're not going to see the struggle. You know what I'm saying? But it's just as, if it's just as glamorous as it is, there's something just as dark in the background.
So as of now, being that we could see the glamour in basketball, now you've made a different route going into music. I've noticed the glamour in when you record and you work on your tracks and we make it sound good. Have you found anything yet that's dark in your side of the musics?
Yeah, for sure. I think for me, I'm at the stage where like I'm trying to get to like a very positive spiritual point with my music and get out of like my trauma. Because like a lot of what my music is like is trauma. It's like I just spit out what I've seen, what I've went through. And it's pretty dark, you know what I'm saying? It's not as uplifting as I want it to be or as I would like it to be. So I'm just trying to get that out so I can get on to, you know, creation and life and positive music and something that I would even want to listen to. Because sometimes I listen to my music, I'm like, I don't even want to listen to this shit. It's just making me in a bad mood, you know what I'm saying? So just just getting past all that dark shit and get into the music that I think will inspire people.
So right now you're healing through your music to now provide a better experience for the people that listen.
For sure.
Dude, that's awesome. Now, it seems like everything regarding your creativity has been a form of either healing or just continuing forward. I've heard that you felt like basketball was like silencing you. And with that, you decided to get tattoos. Was that a form of expression without using your words?
No, for sure. You know, it's funny because when I told you VCU was 16 in art. When I got to VCU, I couldn't enter the art program because the classes clashed with the basketball schedule. So I was there. I'm like, damn, I can't even be in the art program. So I wasn't drawing. You know, I was really dedicated to basketball. So that's when I got a lot of tattoos. When I got all of them. I got my first tattoo my first year in college, and by my second year, you know, I had probably over like 40 or 50 tattoos. I was going every week. Before one, it was like I was playing a game with myself that I would get a new tattoo before one would heal. So before this one healed, I would get another one. You know, and this one, D-Wade, I don't know, D-Wade came out with these compressions at the time that had pads on them. And everybody was wearing them like for your legs and stuff. Man, it came in handy, bro. I was wearing them shits every day because I had practice. I would go right before or go after practice or go after a game or something. I was real close with my tattoo artist. He owned a shop right down the street, so it was in walking distance. So I literally, after practice, walk down there, wait till he finish up shop, he close it down, then we'd be talking, he'd be like, what you want to get, man? I'd be like most of my tattoos were free, which is crazy. Yeah, he did like, man, probably 90% of mine for free. I was broke. I no way I would have got that many tattoos in college. Like, you know, we had no money. So yeah, he lit me up and I got it out. You know, I was able to express myself. I drew a lot of my tattoos. Me and him put a lot of stuff together. So I was able to kind of do what I want. Like this whole thing right here is my religion. It's like dedicated to my spirituality and, you know, how I got it set up. So yeah, it was dope.
So you've always had a hand in any creative aspect of your life?
Except for part of my birth, yeah. The most important creative part. I had nothing to do with that one.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, thanks to that, we have you here.
For sure.
So from what I'm hearing, it's not just the vocal side of the music, but you're also working in music production.
Yeah, for sure. That's where I started. Yeah, when I left the league, I actually did a record for OVO. And it was crazy because I leave the NBA and I'm like, you know, I just left, I retired, left all this money on the table. And I moved out to Cali and I'm like, you know, of course, you're like, what the hell did I just do? You know, everyone's saying that you're saying it to yourself. You're like questioning, going back and forth, you know, you're trying to find your confidence, right? In your new decision. So I created this record. And it was like the first one I produced with this new system called Fruity Loops. I was on Logic at the time. That's all I knew.
Logic Gang.
Yes, sir. And then I transitioned to Fruity and I made this beat. The first one I spit out. And I had this artist house and I was like, this beat is so cold, yo. I'm like, yo, I was planning all these stores I would go to talk to my friends. And I was like, the only people I'm giving this beat to was Future and Party Next Door. They need to do a song on here. Future and Party. Everybody, that's how everyone was looking at me. They're like, yo, you fucking crazy, bro. You're reaching. Like the beat's hard, bro, but you're reaching, bro. So then, next thing you know, Drake sends me the record back.
Dude.
Drake cut the whole record. He heard the beat, cut the whole record. I get it back. So it's like 2016, 17. We sitting on this Drake record. And I'm like, yo, what the hell he finna do with this? Is he finna drop it? Summer 16 drops. He started beefing for Meek Mills, all this shit. We're like, oh God, it's going crazy. Party Next Door drops it on his album P3. It's the third song called Don't Run, and we go gold. We went gold with it. So
congratulations.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. But it was like, it was that reassurance that, I had made the right choice. And, it was definitely, God speaking through that situation because, it was tough, man. You thinking like, what the hell am I doing? Like, how many athletes have retired and then left and then went and done something and been successful really? Like none. Like, that I know of, like, retired that early in their career, decided to move on to another career and actually had success. So I knew that was just a big name weighing on my shoulders. I couldn't leave that money and leave that situation and then like fuck up and, just be out on the street or be unsuccessful, because what is they gonna tell people? They're gonna be like, oh, we're not gonna follow him. We're not gonna do what he did. Like, but I want to show people that I made the right choice about, you made the right choice by following your heart and you could be successful. And it may be scary, and it may not always look so lucrative, and it might be a bunch of money in front of you. You might have to make a different decision, and it's gonna work out. Your dreams are gonna come true. Like something's gonna happen for you to reassure that, you made the right choice. And it was amazing. I think that's that was definitely a keep going moment for sure.
No, dude, that's beautiful. The fact that you not only think about, hey, the mental health of our players, you don't have to continue to suffer in something that you don't want to do. And for you to come out and find success in that, congrats again.
Appreciate
that
you.
Is insane.
Appreciate you.
The only thing I have to ask after that is, having you in the studio, you've been the nicest person that I've had so far, aside from some other people, but you're definitely up there. Being a basketball player, leaving basketball and having a gold record, what keeps you humble?
Man, because those things don't really, they're great, they're fun, they're awesome, they entertain people. But there are people out here working on how to cure cancer. There are people out here working on how to stop me from having a disease one day that could hurt me, that they walk by and people don't clap. People don't give them recognition, So, I do it because I love to create and I love people, and I see myself in people too. So it's like to disrespect you would be to disrespect myself. You know what I'm saying? Or to disrespect my brother or my mother, my family. And God has also blessed me with different angles in life. My mom used to work at this old rundown motel, and I've seen people treat her bad. I've seen people treat her good. And you just never know. You just never know where you might end up in life. So you can't stand on anything. You can't stand on anything, no success, none of that, because you may need somebody one day that you may shit on. Like you may put somebody down, and the next thing you know, that little kid has to save your son's life because he became the doctor. You just never know how you may need someone and how we help each other. And so you can't take that for granted. You can't take that for granted. And, like I said, my success is built on my connection to people. Having great coaches, great people who decided to invest in me. Like they didn't have to. They didn't. And a lot of them didn't get a dime out of it. You know what I mean? It just came, they had a liking or something in their spirit. So, I think that just keeps me humble, man. Just God wakes me up every day, and that's the blessing right there. And now I got something to do with it, and now I got a chance to affect the day and create, and that's the gift. That's what you got to stand on. Everything else is fluff. You know what I'm saying?
Everything else is fluff.
Yeah, it's just the fluff.
So when you start out the day, I know that you mentioned I made an impact or I made the day. What's Larry Sanders' goals for the day, for the week, and overall for the year?
I would say daily, I do like I'm trying to move into this 3-3-3 thing where 3 hours of meditation, well, not meditation, 3 hours of mental exercise, 3 hours of physical exercise, 3 hours of relaxation. And it's going pretty good. I wake up pretty early. I like to do my business early. I like to check my emails and make all my calls early before I get to my children, and then give them my full attention. So once they get up and get going and you got to feed them, it's like, I'm in that for a few hours before I can get back to anything else. So I just like to get my work done. get my time in with my kids. Uh, just I'm creating a lot of like businesses. Like so, I'm working on a cleaning service out here in Arizona. I'm working on a production management company where I'm starting to because I used to manage artists a few years ago, so I'm getting back into that and trying to curate the art, also manage the artists and put them in position to just have success. Connect dots and whatnot. Building my websites. Doing the music still. Every day is something, and then it's always something that I didn't do that I gotta do tomorrow. That's how I love it. Like I love that about my life. 'Cause I love to stay busy. So yeah, just keep chipping away, man, and working at everything brick by brick. And, I'm gonna look up and I'm gonna have a mansion over here and a mansion over here and a mansion over here. And it's all these things I've built. So I just have to, not physical mansions, but, success. And, just like you said, a day, just be successful today. Drop that brick, man. Move on. You know what I'm saying? To the next brick. And before you know it, it's done. So I've learned that when it came to basketball, and I kind of just apply it to everything else.
So even though you have an artistic background and your foundation is with art, it seems like you still gravitate more towards basketball and have that still be a part of your life.
Well, there are lessons. Basketball, sports teach you a lot of lessons. A lot of lessons. How to be on a team. Where's your place on the team? When to shoot and when to pass. How to be successful. You really learn that on the team because you have to work together, and you understand the teams that work together could be not as talented. They don't have to be the most talented team. Just that camaraderie and that overall focus on oneness. All that can be translated to the business world. And it has to be, because what I've learned and what a lot of athletes learn is when you leave a professional sport, there's no more coach. There's no more not where you at. There's no more, you got to be accountable for yourself. You got to be your own coach now. You got to show up on time. You got to instill all those things that you used to be successful in the game. Now you got to use those for business. Have to. And it's the same. It really is the same, you just have to really make that correlation. You can't say, oh, I'm a basketball player, so I can be late to this meeting. Well, would you been late to practice? You're going to have the same results. That's how you got to see it. You got to approach it like that. And especially like, you got to approach it like the beginning of something. So in the beginning of the game, you practiced, you showed up, you practiced you shot free throws, you did all this shit because you didn't know the game and you wanted to be great. That's the energy you have to apply to business. Not I already made it. So no, that'll get you a meeting, but that's not going to get you longevity. It's not going to get you a second meeting. They're going to be like, go tell their friends they met with so-and-so and it was trash. Like, oh, I met with, Charles Barkley today and it was terrible. You're just a story now. So you have to stay in the room. Sorry, Charles, I wasn't really talking about you, but you gotta stay in the room, and that comes with just really working hard and having something to give, knowing your place on the team, and shooting your shot when it's time to shoot.
Holy smokes! So not only the lessons with your teammates, but translating that to what you do afterwards.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, shoot. I mean, I don't mean to touch on this, but since we already mentioned Charles Barkley, I kind of want to dig into both sides of Larry Sanders and his preference as far as your top 5 in basketball and your top 5 in music.
Okay. Which one you want to do first?
Well, being that we've been talking about basketball and we already mentioned Sir Charles, let's start with the top 5.
Okay. Charles, you're not in it. That's for sure. But no, he's definitely my top 20. 5, Shaq, for sure. LeBron, for sure. Kobe, Jordan, Allen Iverson. And I wanted to say Steph Curry, which I'm really wanted to say him because the kid just is unguardable. Unguardable, man.
What about your player? Because you got to see what was his name?
Giannis.
Yes.
Oh, Giannis, he's top 10 for sure. I would put Giannis in my top. Giannis, God, he's top. He's right there too, man. He's like 6. He might be 5. I don't. It's tough. It's a really tough to put those top 5 players because they all bring something else to the game that's like amazing. You know what I'm saying? Like what Giannis can do as far as his length and his gather and taking 3 steps to get down the court is unmatched. You know what I mean? Like it's unmatched. LeBron's mindset, is unmatched. Kobe, and Jordan, their fight, is unmatched. So it's so hard to compare in different ways. But yeah, that would probably be my top 5 right there.
I'm with that. Now exiting that, who is your top 5 in art? And this doesn't have to necessarily pertain to hip hop. Let's fully dive into
just my art, my whole okay, for sure. Michael Jackson for sure. This is my top 5.
It's not a bad start.
Of course, Tupac. There's Tupac in there. I love Jay-Z. I gotta throw Jay in there. Now this might sound crazy. It's an off one, but this is my favorite songwriter, John Mayer. Gotta throw John Mayer in there. I know I'm a huge John Mayer fan. Great songwriter. I listen to him a lot. The other one gotta be somebody throwback. Cause I listen to a lot of old school music, man. I want to throw like my favorite group in there, like the OJs but if I had to pick one, I'd probably say, Sam Cooke.
Sam Cooke. So overall, a wide variety.
And I'm like, Nita Baker was up there. I mean, it's a couple of people that I really listen to a lot of their music, but I'm thinking if I'm on the island right now, I need some variety. That would be my 5 right there, probably, yeah.
It's funny that you think about that, because usually when people think of like, oh yeah, these are my artists, it's like, yeah, if you were stuck on an island, could those be what you live off of?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I got Mike, I got Pac, I got John, I'm straight. That was straight, yeah.
Now, Larry, being that you have such an open mind with music, I've seen you go from 2 Live Crew style hip hop to slow R&B.
Mm-hmm.
What keeps your brain circulating into like, hey, let's jump into something new? Do you play any instruments? What else do you do in the music production side?
I think it was 2 questions. You asked what inspired me, right? Mm-hmm. That was the first one. I think, all kind of music that I listen to. Like I may wake up in an old school mood. I may wake up in like an alternative mood, like straight trap one day. So just kind of my mood, my mood that I'm in. And then what I'm trying to express, like what I'm trying to convey, or try to get off my chest, because a lot of what I try to make on like the slower side is usually like emotional relationship stuff, like either past stuff that I've dealt with, that I'm trying to like wrap my mind around. So I try to like put it in a song. So it's like, this is what happened and this is why. This is who I am, this is who she is. And, you put it, I try to formulate so I can have a better understanding of it, kind of, of the event,
So it's almost like you evaluate the world through you writing it in music.
Well, yeah, I say reinterpret, yeah, for sure. Reinterpret it, because it just, it puts things in perspective, and it's almost like mapping out your emotions a little bit, because it's all jumbled, then you can write it out and map it out and like, okay, this is what happened. This is why. This is what I did. This is what, she did. Okay, this is the problem. This is the solution. This is the song. When
we create music, it's our baby, right?
Mm-hmm.
Being that it seems like you storytell your music, how often do you listen to your music to take that trip?
Probably every day. There are some songs I listen to like every day, like some of the slower ones, and a lot of the ones where I make the whole song, like the beat and I wrote the song. Those always, the connection in those songs seem to be like the ones I can feel the most. Cause like I made the beat, and then while making the beat, I probably thought of the melody and, a couple words, and then, it just flows better rather than grabbing a beat or someone sending something, and then, it comes with a title. And sometimes you try to go off the title, the beat, what does this sound like? Or, so it's just the process, I think, makes it a little cooler to listen to those songs.
And staying on the topic of the process, I mean, we're in it right now. What can we expect from Larry as of right now?
Like I said, I'm doing my production company, so working with artists, producing. I'm writing a short film right now. I wrote a movie last year as well. I love storytelling, so I'm writing these movies and trying to tell these stories that I feel like are going to just help people, entertain them as well. Um, and so that's my main focus. So hopefully I will have something in the film festival by the end of the year. Yeah, man, hopefully. So just keep pushing. Just this year, that year, whatever. You just keep building, and it'll happen. So just my art for sure.
I got just a couple more questions if that's cool.
Sure.
You got to play alongside Giannis too, right? I just wanted to see what that was like. I mean, I know at that time he probably wasn't what he is now, but just maybe if you could bring or your most memorable moment in the NBA too, maybe like something that really stands out to you. And also, I want to know your wingspan.
Okay. For sure. I played with Giannis, a young Giannis, young buck. I think he was 17 or 18. He was young, 19. He was really young when we drafted him. And he just was really raw but super skilled, man. And I just remember being kind of blown away. And I used to be like, this kid is as good as Kevin Durant. And I'm like, no, come on. This kid's going to be that good, man. I mean, he couldn't shoot, and he's still not a great shooter. But as far as his effect on the game and his, you can't stop him once he gets the ball, that's that Kevin Durant. And man, just in practice, after practice, Jason Kidd was the coach at the time, and we just be just playing around, playing a lot of one-on-one, and the kid just, he Euro step around you or do some shit that you just he's bringing this from a different country on us. He's long, and I remember him coming to me. He didn't speak much English and saying, he was like, "You're not a guard? You know the point guard? I was like, no, man, I'm the center." He's like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, bro, you're taller than me. You're the point guard. I'm the center. But yeah, he was taller than me at the time, just great kid, man. I could tell his playfulness and his youth, which I was hoping that he would never lose, which was what was going to make him just always get better and better and better and better. Don't get drowned down by the rigmarole and the politics and all that stuff. Keep it simple, and he did. And I can still tell he's having a lot of fun, which is great.
I mean, it's the one thing that we want to keep in mind. Now, as far as the greats that you've seen, what's been the most impressive thing aside from...
I played with LeBron too. I did play with LeBron and Kyrie. The last year they were together in Cleveland, I played a little short stint. I came back out of retirement after 2 years, just kind of see if I could do it. And I went to Cleveland, and I was there to the playoffs at the end of the year. And that was amazing too. Playing with Bron and seeing how he plays and just his effect on the game is crazy. It's crazy.
I do have this wonder. I know that when I see somebody that I look up to or that I'm in the same field as, I find myself being almost starstruck for a second. I'm watching them and I forget that I'm in the field with them.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Do you find yourself in that position where you're like, oh, I'm looking at LeBron. I know that I'm playing LeBron, but I'm just in the moment watching him?
When I was in college, I went to LeBron camp. I went to his camp, and me and Iman Shumpert were roommates at LeBron camp. We both played with him. Iman won a championship with him. But to say that's when I was in college, that's when I started going to these camps and playing against these players, and Maury Stoudemire, and I was Kevin Garnett. I was like, oh, I can do this. I was like, when I started playing against my idols, I was like, oh, I'm gonna bust their ass.
Oh,
it's over
really?
with. Yeah, it's over with. It's over with. And then I led the league in blocks, and the game really got easy. It got easy. It did. And I think when I was getting to my prime, they knew what time it was. Everybody knew what time it was. They knew when it came to Milwaukee. When they walked on that court, they knew what time it was, and it was on everybody's face. And it was a factor. And I'll go into my wingspan with that, because I had the longest wingspan in the NBA. I think Giannis might have it now, but I had the longest in the league, which was 7'6". So if I put my one foot one on the ground and reach all the way up. It's gonna be 7'6", which normally if you do that, it's your height. So if you do that right now, let's do it on film. Let's do it. If you put your hand on the ground like this.
All right.
And then put your other hand straight up in the air. Okay, right there. Now stand up. Boop.
No way.
It's your height. Now let me do it real quick.
For sure.
You might have to stand on the top of the chair to touch it.
Yeah, cool, I got it.
See the
Dude, what?
See the difference? Yeah. So that was my advantage right there, seeing long ass arms. So yeah.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
I kind of feel bad that mine wasn't a little bit longer.
That's normal. That's how it's supposed to be. That's how it's supposed to be. That's proportionate. Yeah.
So, oh my goodness, I feel like I'm just learning way more than I thought I've heard about you. Like, for example, here, one last thing. Do you want to give the same experience of getting into a submarine to your kids if they haven't already?
I got them in a submarine already. I went to Hawaii, and yeah, my mom has. I've taken everyone I love on a submarine. I think so. They get on that submarine. I'm gonna take them on a submarine ride, and if it's available, because it's a great experience. Everyone should experience. Hawaii is a great place because a lot of the natural reef has been damaged because of the bombing, Pearl Harbor, all this different stuff, oil. But every fish, pretty much in the ocean, at some point they swim through Hawaii. They swim through that. So when the reef gets destroyed, now what do you have? A bunch of sharks and predators waiting for all these fish to come by and to attack and to eat them. So it's messing up the ecosystem. So what they did in Hawaii is they blow up like buildings and ships and cars. They build a whole city underwater for the fish, so they can live there and be protected. So when you go to Hawaii, you can take a submarine trip underwater and you can see the whole city that they've created underwater for the fish, which is dope. You'll see toilets over here, broken toilets with turtles in them, and statues, and ships like the shipwreck, but they really blew them up and dropped them, and there'll be all kind of animals living in it. So it's pretty dope.
Dang, and
that's what I wanted to do. That's kind of what I wanted to do when I was a kid. So.
And the only thing that was holding you back was your height.
Well, no, it wasn't. Well, I wouldn't say it was holding me back. What I'm saying? I would just say I grew to love basketball, and I got older. And basketball, you get more girls with basketball than marine biology.
What I'm saying? Mermaids, bro. The mermaids.
You ain't get too many girls in a lab coat, that don't fit. They rather see me with a basketball uniform. So, it was a lot of things that made basketball more appealing. Playing on the team, what comes with it. But I still have a love for the ocean, for sure.
Heck yeah, man. Well, let's keep on swimming.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's funny. I learned how to swim when I was 22.
No way.
Yeah, I was a late bloomer when it came to swimming. I was in a submarine, but I couldn't swim. It's crazy.
And there's a reason why we were on the submarine to begin with?
Right. We were on a submarine with a life vest on. All right. Yes, sir.
Well, all righty, my man. Look forward to working with you in the future.
Yeah, let's do it.
Heck yeah. Well, brick by brick, you've been Larry. I'm your boy, Fernie, from Music in the Cut. And it's a wrap.
Music in the Cut. It's a wrap, baby.